Hello and welcome to Lamplighter. Today is May 28. Today in our daily Bible reading, we continue to read about the deterioration of Solomon's life and his relationship with God. And today we are going to follow Solomon on a journey that is an interesting one and one that is faced by many people who go through life asking the question, what is the meaning of life? In fact, this may be the ultimate question that mankind has ever asked and sought an answer for. What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? What is my reason for being here? How do we define life? How do we live life to the full? These are all questions that have plagued mankind from his inception. Solomon is no exception to this rule. Now, Solomon is a king. Solomon is in a position of great power, great influence. He has tremendous wealth. He has tremendous wisdom. He has amazing resources that many people have never had. And so Solomon is going to explore the meaning of life, and he's going to use all of the resources at his disposal. And he's going to write a very interesting book, Ecclesiastes. I always view Ecclesiastes as a personal journal. And it's almost as if we're able to stand behind Solomon and peer over his shoulder as he's writing his thoughts down in this journal. And as he's trying to explore what is life's purpose, he is, in a sense, listening to all the voices of the world, telling him what it takes to be happy and how to be fulfilled. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, he's going to try all of these things that the world suggests will make him happy. Now, what's interesting to me is here we are in the 21st century, and yet the things the world is whispering to Solomon will make him happy or feel fulfilled are the same voices that we hear today. The only difference is that Solomon is in a position where he can actually experiment with all of these things. He can actually try all of these things and see whether the world is whispering ideas to him that are truthful and useful. And so as we journey our way through the book of Ecclesiastes, keep that in mind. It can be very helpful to us. Now, some are going to be amazed at how discouraging the book sounds, how depressing it may sound, because Solomon is going on this journey and he's very cynical, he's very skeptical, and it's a little bit discouraging even for us as modern day readers. But I want to encourage you to stay with it because Solomon is going to reach a powerful conclusion. As a matter of fact, this is not possible if you're going along through the daily Bible reading segments because the editor is going to break it into several pieces. But I always recommend that you read the book of Ecclesiastes at one sitting. It's only 12 chapters long, but read it at one sitting and explore with Solomon this whole journey. There are high points and there are many more low points, but ultimately the conclusion is a powerful one. What we're going to see is that Solomon later in his life discovers the emptiness of life, even with all he has, especially when his life is compared to eternal things. He's going to deal with the ultimate question, what is the meaning of life? And he's going to search among the world's physical offerings and suggestions, but he's going to find these to be unproductive and discouraging to him. He seeks wealth, he seeks power, he seeks popularity, he seeks pleasure, he seeks human wisdom, all these things that the world offers, but he's going to find all of them to be meaningless and empty. But in conclusion, we're going to see that the teacher urges that all things really find their fulfillment only in acknowledging the Creator himself, only in acknowledging the Creator's purpose for mankind and obeying his will. And we'll find that journey complete with that idea when we finally work our way through this journal with Solomon. Now, as we begin in our reading in the book of Ecclesiastes today, we begin with the search for meaning and Solomon saying that all of life is meaningless. It makes no sense to him. He describes the ultimate question of the meaning of life. He describes the cyclical nature of life, how nothing is new under the sun, how things that are happening now have always happened before. He talks about how the rain falls and the streams run into the oceans, but the oceans never get full. He talks about how the sun rises and sets day after day after day, how the wind blows from the north, but then turns to the south, and nothing new happens that hasn't happened before. And all of this makes the search for meaning even that much more complex. The importance of finding the meaning is then dealt with when he's dealing with mortality, and he's wondering about mortality of various things. He talks about the mortality of animals and man and suggests that men and animals are just alike in the fact that they live, but they also die. He talks about the contrast of foolish men with wise men, but the fact that they all are going to die. They meet the same end. So what's the value of being wise versus being foolish? He talks about righteousness and wickedness. The righteous are going to die just like the wicked. And so it becomes a very cynical approach to life. He talks about the importance of the present. And notice how he accentuates the present on page 678, where he says near the top of the page, "Go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for it is now that God favors what you do. Always be clothed in white and always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with your wife whom you love, all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun, all your meaningless days. For this is your lot in life, and in your toilsome labor under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for the grave where you're going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom." Now, we like to quote this passage that says, whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. But really, as Solomon says that, he's basically saying, you might as well enjoy life. You might as well eat, drink, and be merry. You might as well enjoy the wife of your youth, because none of this is going to last. Use your hands to labor. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might, because you're going to die just like everyone else, and there is nothing that is new under the sun. So again, his skepticism seems to be ruling the day. He talks about the unexpectancy of death and how it can come at any time to any person, that death is no respecter of persons. He talks about the fact that time and chance happens to everybody, and it's something over which we have no control. And basically concludes in today's reading that it's impossible to determine the meaning of life, that no matter how wise he or anyone else might be, life is certainly one that is so complex that it cannot be deciphered. Its meaning cannot be discovered. Of course, as we read on, we'll find that that's not true. So stay with me. This is an important book. And again, let me suggest that you read it at one sitting. It is a powerful reading. It's a powerful journey, and it's got its highs, its ebbs, and its flows, its low points. But in the end, the conclusion is worth the journey. I hope that you are enjoying the daily Bible reading. I hope you're finding it to be inspirational and helpful in your daily lives. Isn't it great to be a lamplighter? His word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. I hope you have a blessed day.